in the studio. And Marcus, the spotlight's still very much on Ukraine and the financial difficulties there.
Yeah, exactly, Laura. As you were saying before, the formation of a new Ukrainian government has been delayed until Thursday. At the same time, Ukraine is under pressure to secure outside financial help quickly. Officials in Ukraine say that they'll need as much as $35 billion this year and next year. The concern is that the country may essentially go bankrupt without that kind of cash. For more, I spoke to Tatiana Orlova, an economist at RBS in London earlier. She said that Ukraine could run out of funds within weeks.
Obviously, at the moment, we do not know who is going to be in the next Ukrainian government, but any government which comes to power in Ukraine at this moment will face a very difficult task because the IMF will likely repeat some of its requirements, such as hikes in regulated gas tariffs for the population, fiscal reform. And these requirements will probably be very hard to implement in the conditions when the economy is already very weak.
OK, that was Tatiana Orlova speaking to me there earlier, outlining the difficulties that lie ahead for Ukraine when it comes to getting a lifeline from Western powers or from the International Monetary Fund. Moving on, the recovery in the Eurozone is picking up, at least if you believe the European Commission, which came out with its latest forecast earlier. It says that overall growth will hit 1.2% this year. That's slightly higher than a previous forecast. The Eurozone's largest economy, Germany, seems to be powering ahead. Its growth rate is forecast to be higher than that of France and of Italy. Greece as well, according to the European Commission, will hit a growth rate of 0.6%. That may not sound like much, but Greece, if you remember, has been in a recession for the past 6 years. So that figure, nonetheless, is good news for the country. Let's do some more number crunching. Let's look at the stock markets in the United States this hour. We're seeing stocks trading pretty flat, slightly below the flat line. A lower reading of consumer confidence in February is weighing on those indices. In Europe earlier, we saw the indices closing in negative territory as well. Mining stocks were among the losers amid fears that China's appetite for resources will come down. Weak outlooks from companies like French media conglomerate Vivendi and oil drilling firm Seadrill also hit sentiment. The FTSE 100 was the hardest hit. It was down around about 0.5% as those mining shares took a hit. Next, the credibility of virtual currency Bitcoin is back in the spotlight. This is the website of Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox went dark this Tuesday. Users, they're now being met with a message that all transactions are frozen for the time being. Delana D'Souza has more.
Click and then nothing. That was what users on Mt. Gox saw once they logged into one of Bitcoin's largest exchanges. This is another blow to the Tokyo-based exchange after it halted withdrawals indefinitely on the 7th of February, citing a cyber attack. In search of answers, one Bitcoin trader flew to Tokyo to find out where his money's gone.
I had 311 Bitcoins in there, which at the time of before this started was worth around $300,000. So it looks like that's disappeared.
It's reported that 750,000 Bitcoin were deposited with Mt. Gox. That's a value of around $365 million. This week, the Mt. Gox CEO resigned from the board of the Bitcoin Foundation, a trade group that promotes the adoption of the digital currency. In an interview last year, he admitted investing in Bitcoin was risky.
Bitcoin would quite qualify as a high-risk investment. If you buy Bitcoin, you should buy with keeping in mind that the value could be zero the day after. There's no guarantee, there's no nothing behind Bitcoin trying to keep the market value high.
In November, one Bitcoin was worth over $900. Its value today is around $450. The latest news from Mt. Gox demonstrates the challenges faced with the world's fastest growing currency in a market with no regulation.
OK, that is the business news for now. I'll be back again next hour with more. For now, though, back to Laura.
Great stuff. Thanks very much indeed, Marcus. And it's time to bring you up to date with what's been going on in the world of sports today. Dan Levy's here. Hello there, Dan.
Hi, Laura.
We're going to start with Manchester United. They've been having a terrible time of late, haven't they? They are hoping
a great one.
Their luck might change tonight, though.
Well, they've got a nice European trip, of course, taking on Olympiacos in Greece. Now, it's not going to be easy because they're actually well top of their domestic league. The same can't be said of Manchester United, who sit 6th in the Premier League. This round of 16 first leg tie, a chance for them to forget perhaps their domestic woes. I remember out of both cups in England, and as I said, 6th in the Premier League. Now Olympiacos are reaching this stage of the competition for the first time in 4 years. They've lost all 4 previous meetings with Man United, but in imperious form in the Greek top flight, unbeaten all season in 26 league matches, and they have a 20-point lead at the top of the table. Now the Premier League defending champions are 11 points off 4th. Wayne Rooney is in the starting lineup with Robin van Persie. No Adnan Januzaj nor Juan Mata, of course, who's cup tied. But Rooney, the England star,